Everyone. So in the coming series of videos we will see how to use Linux to get our things done. We will basically focus on the scientific programming. So how can we use Linux or Bash script to do our scientific stuffs. So we will start with a basic introduction of the Linux, then we will see the basic navigational and system commands, and then we will head on to the scientific scripting. So right now I'm using the Unix system, which is very similar to the Linux system, but it's a bit different. Unix was developed by a group of people, but Linux was developed by only one person, Linus Torvald. So, and the most important difference between the Unix and the Linux is totally free, and it's an open source uh, software. So open source simply means that you can open the scripts and see what is going on inside the system. So you can open it, you can read it, you can modify it, and you can make it according to yourself, which you cannot do in the Unix system. The Linux system has comes in various distributions, including Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, Mint, OpenSUSE. There are many more. Even the Android system, which you use in your phones, are kind of Linux distribution, which actually has revolutionized our life. Linux is so powerful that which you can understand only by seeing that 90% of the world's fastest computers run on the Linux, some kind of Linux distribution. So which simply means that it's so powerful. Even you can install Linux on your weak processor and it will still run faster than your Windows or other operating systems. So we will start with seeing the basic navigation commands in Linux, and then we will switch on to the scientific programming. So let's just get started. So the first command I want to introduce you is pwd, which simply means the print working directory. If I type pwd, then it will print the uh, path to this working directory, which is simply the uh, forward slash and then the directory name, and then again forward slash and then again another directory name. This first forward slash simply means the root directory, and then the inside the root directory there is another directory, and inside that directory there is another directory, and we are here. So we will see what root directory is just a few minutes later. So let's see the other commands. So another command which I want to introduce you is ls, which is the list directory. When I type ls and enter, then you can see the contents of this directory. And the another command which I want to introduce is cd, which is the change directory. If I just type cd and enter, then it will go into the home folder, which is the same folder. You can check pwd, so which is the same folder. And if I type cd and then path to some directory, then you can go anywhere. Like if I want to go to the desktop, which is inside my home directory, so I type cd desktop, and then we are inside the desktop now. If I want to go into another directory, so I type cd and then this coding. uh, uh, if you just type C and then tab, then you can see it will automatically completes your statement. So cd coding club, and if you want to see what is inside that directory, you can just do double tab, so it will give you the options which you have. So I want to get into the utpal, so I type u and then again tab. So I'm inside the utpal and I want to see what are the other options inside the utpal, so double tab again. So now we have different options, so I get inside the Linux and enter. So now we are inside the uh, Linux directory. So you can check the pwd here. So here you can see the full path to this working directory, which starts from the root, which is the first kind of directory. So we are inside the root directory, then users, then utpal 50, then desktop, then coding club, then utpal, and then Linux. we are here. And when you do ls, then you can see different files inside this directory. If you do ls minus l, then it will give uh, the permissions of each files. So this first three letters means in this file dcg.cpt uh, has permission of read and write by the user, and then only read option by the others, and then only read option by the groups. Similarly for the other files and folders inside this directory. So then I want to introduce you another command, which is cp command. Okay, before cp we can see the rm command. Rm is the remove command. So if you want to remove or delete anything, you can use this command. When I do rm and just type test data, which is file inside this directory, you can see. So and then enter, so it will remove this directory. You can do ls and you can see this this file is removed. Okay, so another command, which is mkdir, which is make directory. So let me also remove this test. You can see there is another file called test, which is not a file, which is a directory. You can see there is a color difference also here. If you want to see the contents of this file, you can just simply type ls and test. You can see the contents of this file. There is a file called tcg2 inside this file, inside this directory. So if you want to remove this directory, you need to remove the files inside the directory first. Uh, uh, to use there is a command called rmdir to remove the directory for to remove the empty directories. So if I do rmdir test now, so it will not remove this directory because it's not an empty directory. So for using this rmdir command to just delete this directory, you need to empty this directory first. Instead, you can also use rm minus r test. This will remove all the files inside this directory and finally the directory itself. So this rm command works recursively. If you don't use minus r sign here, if you just type rm test, it will not remove. It will just gives you a warning that this test is a directory. So if you want to remove the contents of this directory recursively and then remove the directory itself, then simply type rm minus r test, and then you can see this directory is gone. Okay, so if you want to make a directory, you can use a command called mkdir, which means make directory, and just type test1. Okay, so and enter, then you'll see that new directory is formed. Okay, so now if you want to use rmdir command, it will work perfectly fine with the test1 directory because it's empty. We haven't put anything inside, so now test1 is gone. So let's make it again. Okay, if you want to get to the previous command, you can simply use the up and down arrow. So if I keep pushing the up arrow, I can get to the previous command. So now mkdir test1, and now it's made. Okay, so that's all I want to introduce you in the first video. Later we will see more about the Linux system. So thank you. I don't want to